Technology is the true development of old tradition. All right, that's a drawing. I don't know if it's a good one, but it's done. My name is Tom Sachs. I'm an artist in New York City. For nearly 2 decades, I have been collaborating with Nike to develop the perfect shoes for the sport of sculpture. One of the priorities of the studio and of the Nike Craft collaboration is to outfit the studio team. Whether it's in a high-level meeting or welding in the studio. I wanted a shoe that I'm wearing today to be my everything. We are a professional athletic team. I'm the captain. Our sport is sculpture. I don't know what those stains are there, but glue. Yeah, it's great. I want to have this camera with a BNC connection so I can start testing and have like a few cameras running. The Mars Yard is our everyday shoe, and it has been since 2012. Nike running is for runners, Nike basketball is for basketball. Nike Craft is for everyone else. When I first started working with Nike, and they asked me to decorate a dunk and make my Tom Sachs dunk and do like an airplane sculpture about it. It didn't feel authentic to me at the time. And then I kind of followed up a few weeks later with the idea of making a solid bronze skateboard ramp that was going to cost like $4 million in 2005. And Mark explained to me that that expenditure didn't feel authentic at that time. But it started this great dialogue that went on for years. I mean, that was the early 2000s, and it wasn't until 2012 that a shoe finally came out. Mark Parker and I developed a rich dialogue of saying no to each other. And I think that was when Mark started to outline this beautiful sentiment that a collaboration, in order to be a true collaboration, in order to be successful, must be 50-50. Something that neither party could do without each other. One of the interesting challenges in the collaboration has been getting my handmade qualities into something that's mass-produced, showing how it's made. In 2009, we did an interview in Interview magazine, and I think I was a little tough on him. But at one point, he sort of snapped back, "You think you can do better? Why don't you try?" And you'll start to see where things go wrong. And we did that, and we made that Mars Yard shoe. And we made the 2.0. And we made the 2.5, and finally the 3.0. And they all have little problems along the way. I've been working on the space program since I was a child. And I did a drawing of what would become my space program in '99. And I've been working on it and then started building spacesuits. And the first show was the space program in 2007 at Gagosian in Beverly Hills. In the first space program show, we even made a little movie called Just Do It, Motherfucker. And it was kind of a fake ad for a fake Nike shoe, as if Nike made the overshoe that the first step on the moon had a swoosh on it. In 2011, I got a knock on the door from NASA. "Are you Tom Sachs?" And he said, "My name's Greg Vane. I'm Director of Solar System Exploration for Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And I invite you to meet with the entry, descent, landing team and see if we can help you rework your lunar space program to work on Mars." And I said, "Greg, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well, see that ball of duct tape hanging from a string that you call the moon? Wrap it in red duct tape, and then it's Mars." I knew right then that within NASA, I'd found my people. Greg Vane introduced me to Tommaso Rivellini and Adam Steltzner at JPL. Tommaso Rivellini, he holds the patents for entry, descent, landing mechanism, and Mars rover. He was kind of like my Michael Jordan. I was the unofficial artist in residence for the entry, descent, landing team. I wanted to make a shoe that would support the strongest minds in the aerospace industry. A shoe that would work just as well in the rigorous off-road surface of the Mars yard as in the funding-seeking hallways of Washington, D.C. headquarters. So this is the patch for the entry, descent, landing team for the Mars Science Laboratory, Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And this drawing was done by Tommaso Rivellini, originally on a park bench in Cambridge when he kind of came up with the idea. And I just kind of put it together with like Earth on top, Mars on the bottom. The idea is we go from Earth to Mars with this. At Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, there is this place called the Mars Yard. The Mars Yard is a football field-size synthetic Mars surface. It's made out of volcanic rock and whatever they could find from Home Depot. There's a garage where they keep the Mars rover, where they drive it by remote control to test it out. And what's probably most important in the story of this is that when the first Mars rovers bounced their way down to the surface of Mars, they did it in this special material called Vectran. Tommaso Rivellini gave me this little sample of Vectran, which is an aramid, which is a fiber like Kevlar. And it's so strong and abrasive resistant that you have to cut it with a laser. In fact, this is laser cut, this piece. It's 10 times stronger than steel. It abrades stronger than anything. But if you fold it 100 times, like a paper clip, it snaps. But that's why the Mars yards kind of fell apart, because although it passed every test in every machine we could put it through, we never thought that folding something a dozen times could break it. This all comes from stuff that's used in NASA. It's like a communication gesture where things are red because you're trying to draw attention to them. Otherwise, you want them just raw aluminum because paint costs weight. In the Mars yard, we always tried to convey some of this by having the materials be the native materials of the product, like natural rubber, the sort of light tan of the suede pigskin, the polyurethane is white, and only the red and the donning straps are artificially dyed because they communicate. Who made this? A swoosh. Oh, it's Nike. Or how do I get this thing on? Oh, put fingers here to insert foot. This is the rarest of the rare. I looked on the internet. No one even seems to know what it is, but you can see it does say Mars Yard 1.1, and it's just 2 layers of Vectran, and they also fail. Talked to Parker about this, and he said, well, you should just line it with cambril, like we do. And I said, yeah, but it makes it less breathable. And he said, yeah, but it doesn't fall apart. And I was like, did you know? And he said, yeah, I knew it was gonna happen because I've been doing this for a long time. I was like, why didn't you tell me? And he said, your storytelling was too compelling. And that's really important. Tell the story. And so we did. And I think it was a success in its failure. The Mars Yard 2, it was just a challenge from Parker saying, can we do a restock? The Mars Yard 1, there were 500 pairs. And the differences are pretty subtle. It's still rubber outsole, polyurethane midsole. But this time we used polyester mesh with polyester cross weave to hold it all together. Polyester does not sound exotic. I wanted Kevlar, basalt, carbon fiber, hemp, Technora, Dyneema, but all that stuff's too brittle. Polyester's the best. And these work pretty well. They still wore through, and you'll still find holes in them, and you can see all these amazing repairs that people have done along the way. This is my favorite repair that Ricky Bond at Nike did. Oh, this is the original box that the Mars Yard shoes came in. Here you can see Ricky hand wove repairs. Here's a little silicone rubber Band-Aid. And this comes from a tradition called kintsugi in Japan, where gold is used to show the repair, and the piece gains more value from having been smashed in the story of the smash. Individuality is rare and must be cultivated. It's hard for me to make something as flawless as a Nike shoe, but it's even harder for Nike or an industry to make something that has the fucked up qualities, the handmade qualities. Having something that shows the fingerprints or a stitch that a human being was there is very special. These fingerprints that you see in all of these works show that, I was here.
T-minus 26 seconds and counting. Ignition glass now fully installed. 19 seconds and counting. T-minus 17 seconds and counting. Scissor lift retract. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, launch commit.
Although we didn't sell out of the Park Avenue Armory in the time between 2012 and 2017, the 1.0 had become a cult classic. People were really into it. And we produced a bunch of 2.0s, and we realized that we didn't really make enough to meet demand, so I was gonna challenge the community to earn the opportunity to participate in wearing them. And so we did an incredible activation at Governor's Island. You had to take a ferry to get to this island, climb a rope, do push-ups to failure, do a wall drawing, do all these ritual activities that I do all the time in my studio. But it was kind of the first time we really started to use the shoes as a way of bringing people into getting off their ass and doing stuff. Sneakers are for doing stuff. We'd made the overshoes for our mission to Vesta, the brightest asteroid in the night sky. It lies somewhere between Jupiter and Mars. It's not an overshoe. It's just a skin for a Mars yard. And you can see, and people on the internet, cut this open and have harvested the inner shoe and tried to make it work, but you can see inside this shoe is the Mars Yard 2.0. And this became the predecessor for the 2.5. The 2.5 was our way of trying to explore problems that we had found with the 2.0. We were wearing them in the shop, people were stubbing their toes, they weren't protective enough. The material was still breaking, but it wasn't breathable enough. So I fell in love with these Sail 87 React that Daryl Matthews designed. The midsole, outsole construction, it's a lot like the Mars Yard, right? Because it's mostly midsole with just pads of hard rubber to protect in the high wear areas. But more than anything, this upper material, which is called monofilament woven, it's just fishing line woven. It has a little bit of waterproofness. It's very breathable. It's very, very strong. It feels weak. And so we use these as the uppers on the 2.5s, and they were incredible. Let me show you a pair that Laura Kampf wore to death. Look how she wore them literally all the way through. And we started to learn things. We learned that if it's gonna be a really durable shoe, you might wanna have the whole bottom rubber. The Mars Yard 2.5 became the official shoe of the Wear Tester. We made 100 of these. We sent them out to people. We issued them challenges. They did them, they sent them back. We cleaned them, put new sock liners and laces in them, and sent them out to another 100 people. And most of the people returned the shoes. Thank you. Thanks. So that leads to the 3.0. What I'm really excited about this shoe is that people might look at it and be like, nothing changed. And that's exactly what I want, is you want to feel like the last one, but it couldn't be more different. There's nothing on this that's the same. Nike Craft Mars Yard 3.0, new details. Oversized 5mm eyelets, staggered eye stay, a Blucher style open eye stay, 4mm round ribbed polyester laces. There's a lace keeper on the tongue. There's a nylon donning strap on the tongue and on the heel foxing. The upper is open mesh polyester. The swoosh is silk screen printed on the upper. There's a TPU heel clip. It's 90 durometer hardness. There's a TPU toe cap, 90 durometer hardness. The midsole is polyurethane react foam, 40 durometer hardness. It says, let's call it 40. There's a natural rubber outsole, that's 75 durometer, with a carbon fiber arch plate. The weight of a US size 9 men's is 465 grams. The main point is that it's a constant evolution. I'm already working on the Mars Yard 4.0. Things that I want to do differently. The Mars Yard's an exotic, special, expensive, beautiful work of art. The Mars Yard was made for going to other worlds and for doing the best we can in this one. Mars Yards have always been hard to get, and they're always going to be hard to get. And if you want them, you're going to have to work for it.